Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Liberating Your Soul. This is my new and improved channel. This is my first ever runes reading on this channel. I'm just so excited. Welcome to all you women. If you have been a subscriber to my previous Healthy and Wealthy and Wise channel, welcome back. This one's focused on women's empowerment and soul liberation, helping you, as you all are women, your own healers, your own witches, your own priestesses, medicine women, going inside for the answers to heal and alchemize your fear into love, grief into gratitude, divorce into deliverance, and suffering into sovereignty, like truly reclaiming your truth, reclaiming your power. And as you can tell, it's warm. I'm back in Southern California, and oh my gosh, it's definitely a lot hotter in this area than Minnesota. Loved my time in Minnesota. So grateful. Had 2 runes workshops, had amazing readings at Midwest Witchery and Healing. Thank you again. Shout out to my friend Witch Jody in Stillwater, Minnesota, having such a beautiful space. So if you're new to my channel, I went ahead and already smudged, and I have my incense burning. I'm going to call in spirit, and I'm going to dive right in because I've been a runes reader since 2023. This is my 3rd year anniversary, heading into year 4. And runes are ancient symbols. Some would say a sacred alphabet. I'm going to create a separate video about the history of the runes and all of the things so that you have another tool, another resource. But in the meantime, I'm going to dive right in and talk about the eclipse energy, talk about what's happening on the planet. Right now, eclipse season has been hugely impactful in my life. Like I shared in the show notes, I found a dream home. I've actually moved multiple times through eclipse season. This is actually, I'm on the precipice of yet another move. And actually, I also chose to file divorce through eclipse season. I started new careers, like dream passion careers in eclipse seasons. So much potency. I have also, sadly, seen people die suddenly in eclipse seasons as well. And there's definitely been a lot of intense energy. This is Leo season. It's a Leo eclipse, new moon, solar eclipse. Not joking, but a total eclipse of the heart, because Leo is love, money, abundance, courage, finding that inner strength to face your fears and moving forward through them. The eclipse is going to force your hand, actually, if you don't even know. It could blindside you, and it can eclipse people out of your life and eclipse people into your life. I had that happen. I had a spiritual mentor eclipse into my life back in 2020. This is the same degree, 20 degrees of Leo, as the eclipse season, and I'll explain what that means, from December of 2007 to 2009, I think middle of the year. So thinking back to that timeline in your life, this is very similar energies, still different skies. We have also 6 planets in alignment, and most of that is Leo fire. So it's the year of the fire horse. So there's a lot of fire, so it can be really uncomfy. You want to be a witness, you want to be an observer. We also have just the nodes of fate just pivoted from Virgo and Pisces into Aquarius, North Node, and Leo, South Node. So really quickly, solar eclipse is a South Node eclipse, which really is about leaving things behind. It's a new moon, and I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. So it's going to be an opportunity to liberate yourself, hence the title of this chapter, this YouTube channel, and what I'm hoping and why I wanted to do my first runes reading on this channel now, because this is all about identity, liberating yourself, speaking your truth, being out, and letting your freak flag fly, which is what this channel is really dedicated to, helping you women to fully stand in your light. That's what Leo is also about, shining your light into the world with humility and grace, but also passion and fire. So this is going to nudge you to potentially start something new, but let's talk a little bit more about what that looks like, because it's a new moon. New moon is for seed planting. Now, one thing I do want to warn you about is that you don't want to rush into whatever you're planting seeds for. You want to kind of drip into it and be a witness, breathe, meditate, do yoga, and just take one day at a time. Because this is a fire eclipse. This is all about heart. It can bring the other side of that, the shadow side. It could bring anger, so you could have some explosive arguments if you're not careful. Your ego, you want to check that at the door and drop into your heart and do your best. Like I've had to like really humble myself. The eclipse portal actually opened more so with Lionsgate at the end of July. So I had a couple sacred rage workshops scheduled intentionally because this can bring up a lot of fire. And you know, these eclipses end things suddenly. So there could be sudden changes. Like example, when I was going through the 2007 to 2009 timeline, I suddenly became homeless. I suddenly met my now ex-husband. I suddenly, in a very short period of time, was married and starting a family. It was like boom, 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 boom. I suddenly moved from Phoenix to California, and then, oh, by the way, almost in the same timeline of 2007 to 2009 from California to Minnesota. So we're revisiting that energy right now, only it's also the year of the fire horse. And of course, we're going through an official age of Aquarius, knowing that the North Node is in Aquarius, the South Node is in Leo. This is also a revolutionary time with Aquarian energy. It's air and fire. And think about it. We've had fires not too long ago in Canada. I was in Minnesota when there was like smoke everywhere. Where there's smoke, there's fire, and air and fire can breed like wildfire. So I've had to do a lot of biting of my own tongue, but also that's why I offer up sacred rage, breath of fire, being able to breathe through and not ideally not take it out on anyone else. This has definitely helped me work through my emotional intelligence. And just really know that there's another eclipse at the end of the month that's a full moon. And I will be doing a reading now every week from now on. So welcome back. If you're new to my channel, please hit the like, subscribe, and the notification bell and share with your community. If you're viewing this on Facebook or LinkedIn, hello, please go to magdalenagrace.com and you subscribe to my Liberating Your Soul channel there. And then you can always get the new content. So ultimately, I'm going to go ahead and dive into the reading, and I'm going to coach you along the way. So grab a pen, grab a paper, and again, if you haven't already, you can smudge, sage, light a candle. And we're really wanting to think about a new moon question, a solar eclipse question. Since Leo is about love, money, pleasure, purpose, passion, think about that. Do you have a question around relationship? Do you have a question around your career? Maybe anything that you've noted in your dreams that is the loudest. I know for me, it's definitely been about moving and love. And that's really, again, goes back to 2007, 2009. We're repeating some of those same themes. So go ahead. I'm actually feeling the energy, so hold on. Always moving energy. The runes are getting me ready. So inviting you to close your eyes. Let's do 2 cleansing inhales together through the nose. Inhale. Go ahead, deeply inhale. And sigh it out through the mouth. One more, deepest inhale of the day. Get grounded, centered. And exhale. Quieting your mind, dropping into your heart, thinking about what has been loudest: health, wealth, relationships, career, moving, anything. It's really on your heart today, since this is a total eclipse of the heart. This reading is really good for 2 weeks up to 6 months. It's the energy of the new moon. Go ahead, now that you may have thought what it is you're curious about, wanting clarity on today, go ahead and take another deep inhale. And sigh it out. All right, so what I'm going to do, calling in Woden and Freya, calling in Spirit. Not sure if you can hear that bell. So this is a general reading, so take the best, leave the rest. I'll do one reveal at a time, and then I'll do a summary reading with a bonus pull of another deck. All right, I'm loving what I'm seeing. So remember, this is general. It may or may not apply 100% to you, but it's more important what you see, think, feel, hear, remember, or any kind of emotions that come up. So first things first, I'm going to have you look at this first card, take a nice deep inhale as you do, and exhale, see what comes through. So this first one is Tiwaz, and it's kind of interesting because I'm reading this on a Tuesday. As the time of this recording, it's Tuesday, August 11th. The eclipse itself, though, is Wednesday. So you can receive this reading, do it Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, really anytime in the next week, because the eclipse energy is vast momentum energy, and you could still do this and be a participant of this anytime between now and the next reading if you like. So I'm reading this on Tuesday, and what Tiwaz is a focus on is justice, spiritual discipline. So I already said this, really going inward and thinking about your boundaries, thinking about what do you want, not being all things for all people, not looking outside yourself for the answers, going inward to really get clear on what is your core values, your honor, your code of integrity, your ethics and morals. And this eclipse time is not a time to do a lot. This whole week, I have a very, very light schedule intentionally so that I can keep my energy balanced. I don't get all fired up because I am a Pitta energy. If you don't know that, what that means, never mind. But if you're a Pitta like me, we can get more fiery during a fiery eclipse. And there's lots of fire right now, lots of Leo. And so this is really about honoring your inner spiritual warrior, what really matters to you, and doing a total reflection on that during this eclipse week is highly recommended because, and here's number 2, take a deep inhale and look at this card. You can draw it if you like. Go ahead and look, see what comes through. Now, this is what Wunyo is. It's about joy and coming from your truth, which is all Leo energy. Leo is love, money, pleasure, standing in your power. If I had my hair down, I'd be doing that 80s like lion's mane. I am sexy. I am powerful. I am joy filled and humble at the same time. Remember, check your ego at the door. So here's the thing. If you tap into your spiritual warrior and your core values, your integrity, your truth, your discipline, your saying no to what no longer serves you, saying a whole body yes to what really lights you up, that's what a true spiritual warrior does, then the joy is going to come to you. But you have to honor the Tiwaz, the spiritual discipline, the looking within, the reflection point on what really matters to you most. That ultimately, kind of like the justice card in tarot, this is kind of similar to that one. You want to have spiritual discipline to have that justice in your life, the healthy boundaries, all of that's going to bring you joy because it's going to magnetize. I'm doing a 5-day challenge, portal activation next week for women for love, money, and pleasure. You can't force things to happen. You got to magnetize it. Joy, yes, while it lives within, as within, so without. If you have a lot of things in your life that don't bring you joy, you got to look within and have the spiritual discipline to say no and cut and sever, eclipse out of your life those people, places, things, or habits that are really bringing you down. I've been doing that a lot myself, and it's brought me so much more joy in the past couple of weeks. Last but not least, take another deep inhale and look at this rune. So I don't know how many of you are feeling the love of Leo. There's a lot going on. We have, maybe about this. Venus is in Libra, which Venus is the goddess of love. And there's just a lot of that Leo energy, which is about love. My Venus is in Leo, so I'm a hopeless romantic. I'm in love with love. I just love love. And this is about relationships and reciprocal relationships. So if you don't have reciprocal relationships in your life where, like, for example, if you feel like you're giving way more than you're receiving, check that. Maybe you got to eclipse that relationship out of your life. Or maybe you'll be eclipsed out of someone else's life. I've had that this summer. I just had someone essentially fire me, and that's okay. I've had a couple of mutual firings, because if you are truly operating from your spiritual warrior, we don't attach to people. We don't force people to be in relationship with us. That's not true love. That doesn't bring true joy, Wunyo. So in summary, I'm going to have you look at these runes one last time before I do the bonus card pool and finish. See if anything comes through additionally now that you've heard a little bit about it, and then I'll do the summary. So truly, the summary of this is clear. With this eclipse energy, you want to tap into that spiritual warrior, that lioness or lion inside of your heart. What do you really want? What matters most to you? What really isn't in alignment with you, that doesn't bring you joy? If it doesn't bring you joy, let it go. Relationship, bad habit, self-sabotage, limiting belief, even toxic ex, and X marks the spot. Speaking of which, once you have that joy, you're going to magnetize that beautiful, loving relationship, whether it's a friend, sexual partner, could be a business partner. Maybe you're wanting to tap into that sacred exchange of 1 + 1 = 3. And that's a huge part. There's actually many astrologers have talked about this. The divorce rate has been really high the last couple of years, and more people are leaving those relationships that are not reciprocal and not balanced to go prepare themselves for the next. I know that's a huge part of what I've been calling in. So now to do a clarifying card, I'm pulling from the Herbal Astrology Oracle deck, and I realize that this is backwards, so you probably can't see that very well. Let's see what is our bonus card today. If you're just joining me, feel free to comment below with questions. If you catch me on the live or the replay, I want to hear from you. I want to know what this reading did or is doing for you. What are you committed to with this eclipse? And again, if you're just joining me, please hit the like and subscribe and hit the share button. Sharing is caring, especially if you know someone's struggling with mental health or challenges, because the eclipse season, unfortunately, it does bring up some intensity and scary stuff. So let's see, what is our clarifier here? Aha, okay. So here's the number 30. That number may mean something to you. This is Echinacea, and it says destiny. So this is the Herbal Astrology Oracle deck. And it says destiny. So I'll quickly read the summary of the card. I'm not going to read the whole thing. But it talks about, wheel of change, life cycles, destiny, bigger vision, fortune, and fate. For some of us who get into Lionsgate Portal, which we're also ending on the 12th, anything you planted between the 8th and the 12th is going to be a destiny blast. This is the true new year based on ancient Egyptian study and the star Sirius. I'm not going to get into all of the Lionsgate stuff now, although I do have Sacred Rage workshop this Saturday. Still time for you to sign up if you see this by Thursday. An opportunity to really eclipse those energies and rewrite your destiny. Destined, fated events can happen during an eclipse season. You can meet the love of your life during an eclipse season. So you can't see it on the picture so well, but the snake is eating its tail. If you can see that. It's not super clear, but the snake eating its tail, the Ouroboros, is the wheel of change, resembling the cycles of life and death. The sun and moon orbit and spin the wheel of change, representing our earthly domain. The echinacea sprouting in the center represents evolutionary consciousness, unbound by the confines of destiny. Like the Wheel of Fortune in tarot, this card may signal a twist of fate, a time where something in life shifts us and reorients us elsewhere. I can't make this stuff up. Echinacea has shown up in your card today to remind you that the universe is always in motion and nothing is by accident. The key to see through the cycles of destiny is to remain centered and fluid, flowing with the course of life, which is what you've got to do. You got to ride the tide through an eclipse. If you fight it, it's going to feel like an uphill battle. The elusive judgments of good and bad only limits the vision of the great understanding. Step back and observe the great vision at play and be unbound by the passing influences. So, my dear friends, that summarizes it. Remember that the nodes of fate have just switched into Leo, and this is a South Node eclipse. Think back to where you were end of 2007, 2008, 2009. What was eclipsing in your life? What eclipsed in? What eclipsed out? What are you holding on to that you can really just surrender to the universe and let the universe take it in the eclipse, so that now you can have room to bring in something, someone new, better, and always say, for your highest and greatest good. So again, comment below with questions. What did you take away from this runes reading? And if you want to sign up for my Sacred Rage workshop in Temecula, or ladies, if you want to sign up for my 5-day online eclipse portal activation, we have another eclipse coming up at the end of the month. So I wanted to have something to keep you going, something to keep you positive. 5 days, 5 classes on love, money, pleasure, and rewriting the story on all of those, leveraging the power of this eclipse portal. It's only $8. There's a Yoni steam, 2 guest speakers that are just freaking incredible. Your mind will be blown, I promise you. And the whole goal is to then catapult into the next 6 months of your life, because these eclipses are going to ride us into February and dramatically change our lives for the better. Although what you resist persists. If there's something that you're fighting, or like I said, if you're holding on tightly to something, you just got to let your ego in check and surrender to passion, pleasure, joy, all of the things that I talked about today. So thank you so much for tuning in. Until next time, here's to your truest essence, your soul being liberated from the ties that bind, and empowerment from going into fear into love, suffering into sovereignty, grief into gratitude, and again, divorce into deliverance for those that applies. Take care. Bye-bye for now.